Today, we're going to dive into the XRP ecosystem and talk with one of the guys over at Futureverse. We've talked a little bit about them before. You guys don't want to miss it. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. I do want to thank our sponsor today, and that is Tangem. This is a self-custody wallet. Very slick system out there when it comes to self-custody. And one of the things that you should be doing now, especially as we start to go into a bull run here, or really in the heat of a bull run, is make sure that your tokens are safe. So if you are on a centralized exchange, maybe you want to start setting some of those over on your own self-custody wallet. Just click that little Get Tangem button right there on the top right. It's going to drop you into the 3-card set. Order that one. You can still get the 20 off using our code down below. Make sure and do that. It comes out through the 15th of December. So check it out. Get your way going on self-custody. As you guys may remember, we did a video with McDonald back in about 6 months ago. And it was really kind of getting an update of what was happening within Futureverse. So we thought, hey, let's bring him back in and dive in a little bit deeper. So welcome into the show. Aaron, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Nice to see you again. Thanks for...
Yeah, no, good to see you again.
A lot happening, of course. Before we get going too deep on this, I just want to remind everybody, when you look at Futureverse, and again, if you guys want to watch the full video, go back, check that out, because we really kind of dove into a lot of, we'll explain some of that today, but very tied into the XRP ecosystem, Ripple as a whole. When you look at the current market for XRP, obviously there's been a big run up on the token side of things. What's your opinion of just how much sentiment has been brewing around this space now?
Yeah, no, it's been really interesting and exciting to watch. I mean, obviously we made the decision to work with the Ripple team and build in the XRP community when things weren't so fantastic. And
right.
old GG was having his day out there, and so it's been really fascinating to see how our view of how this would shape out actually did pan out. And we always kind of looked at the community as being very strong and very loyal. You know, the army is definitely a force to be reckoned with. And if you look at,
no doubt,
you know, the massive kind of headwinds that the community was facing, and how well XRP held up, even though they had all of those massive headwinds, you just seen it as a loaded spring that once those things disappeared, you know, there would be lots of upside momentum for the community out of that. You know,
it's a breath of fresh air for sure. One of the things that is really leaning in right now is RLUSD. And you look at the potential of a stablecoin now getting approved by the New York regulator. How will that affect you guys in terms of Futureverse?
What we've seen is this kind of awesome momentum of community support, and what needs to follow up that awesome momentum of community support is the actual kind of use of that network and the, you know, the power of the technology itself coming to light and utility, and getting our Ripple stablecoin on the network and out in the wild and creating liquidity around that is going to create a whole bunch of momentum around those use cases. It's kind of done that in all of the other previous examples out there. You know, having good stablecoin depth and ecosystem powers the DeFi apps and the other apps on top of it. For us in particular, like if you think about our goal of reaching consumers and driving everyday adoption and things like gaming, having something that is you know, stable in value is a really attractive proposition from a consumer experience point of view. Pricing things in those currencies makes it easy for them to get their head around. And so we're really looking forward to integrating it into the Root network and into the developer ecosystem that's building those applications around
Very
us.
cool. If you look at XRP scan, I was just kind of showing people, but if you go down and look at trust lines, I've got it selected right there, and you scan down to the bottom of the page. Yeah, so almost 20,000 trust lines in place. So that's pretty significant. If you don't know about trust lines, we've got a whole video on that of explaining it, how it works. You know, it's an XRP thing, but if you're into XRP, you probably fully understand that.
Yeah.
I want to get into a couple other things, and one, of course, is I was looking at overall, this is kind of a rundown on what you guys are doing. A lot of growth here Explain to
Yeah.
me how you guys use XRP.
XRP is the gas token on the root network. And so essentially everything that happens on the network is powered by XRP.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously on network as a currency as well, so people can kind of transact in it and use it inside of the applications that are built on the network, smart contracts, those kinds of things. And this last year, we've seen really good, what I'd say, like got off to a really good start over the last 12 months of taking that XRP token and turning it into other kinds of utility for XRP. That number there, I think $1.3 billion worth of value transferred in the first year. And that's a pretty great number from our perspective. Also, I think if you look at like fees earned by root network validators, equivalent to 1/3 almost of the fees burned on the whole XRP ledger itself. And so you can see a good sort of utility contribution building around XRP itself in the broader, layer 2 ecosystems around XRP. And next year, we really want to scale that up, and 10x that and continue to see more and more utility grow around the token and the network.
I mean, you're going on close to 600,000 wallets. I mean,
Yeah.
is this where you thought you would be?
Yeah, I think we're roughly tracking in line with our expectations. There've been a couple of bigger partners that we thought would land later in this quarter that have pushed out to early next quarter, just from a market timing perspective and their internal processes and stuff like that. But apart from, if you take those out of the equation, I think the state of where things are is pretty good. This year's really been kind of getting all of those systems at a point where we can feel comfortable to scale them.
Right.
And then next year's really all about scaling it.
Let's go over to the Epic Game Store. Of course, we've got your game in there. And first of all, I'm kind of curious, how many people whitelisted to be able to play this? Have you got any numbers you
I
can
actually
share?
don't know the latest number today. We had 100,000 on the wait list already. So I'll need to go and look at what the latest is that have transitioned across to the whitelist. But the first day response was really strong, and teams starting to build into our partner marketing campaigns around that. So we're expecting to have a really good list of people who are ready to start experience opening in the new year. And jumping in yesterday was another leap forward in terms of the quality. Team have done a really good job on a lighting pass and a bunch of new animations and UI features. There's stuff dropping in all the time. So we're really excited to get our first community champions and some influencers into this in the first kind of let's call it externally public playable version in January. And start building up then into formal early access probably for our closer community, and then start pushing into the broader gaming ecosystem from there going forward. It's an awesome piece of IP. The team that's building it is an awesome team, and we're looking forward to having people having some fun with it.
Yeah. Well, one thing I can do is give you guys credit for Futurepass, because this is something, when we see onboarding processes, we're always very critical. And I would say this is one of the better ones that have been out there. If you guys want to go over to Futureverse, just search Futurepass, you guys can kind of see a little bit of the experience.
Yeah.
So good job on that. Anything coming down the future for Futurepass that maybe would make it even slicker than it is today?
We have support for pretty much every major social or gaming platform now. There's a couple more being added to support the launch of Open. But the real exciting things for Pass actually are the platform itself is designed so that other people or other organizations or other teams can create their own Pass domains. And therefore take their brand into their community or their consumers in a more seamless and brand aligned way. And so the thing for us that's really exciting is activating, we've got a half a dozen big brands and communities that are creating their own pass journeys now, and we'll start to launch those in the new year as well. So that's exciting for us, and gives Pass a greater footprint out there, and lots more users to onboard into the ecosystem through that.
One of the things
Yeah.
I have to call you out on, and that is, I was looking at this this tweet right here. It was talking about the Futureverse ecosystem, and kind of zoom in on that. Very complicated, and I would say even to a certain extent for people that don't really know yet what we're about to see in Web3 gaming. If you go over and take a look at just Futureverse in general, it is pretty complicated. It doesn't give, I think, a complete full guidance to maybe a new person that's moving in. Any plans to change that in the future to make it a little easier to come from a really slick onboarding process?
Futureverse itself is actually more of a B2B proposition. So our customers are the brands and the IP and the studios and the developers who are using these tools. And so people who need to know the totality of Futureverse itself is a small subset. Like those people that are going to come and engage, they're going to come in and play open, and they know open and they care about open.
Right,
and that's
exactly.
their window into the world. Of course, the core hardcore community that want to get deep into the network and tokenomics and ecosystem, they have to do the research, and that's part of the game if you want to be one of those early adopters or super fans, or people who are kind of interested in that side of the value equation. But not everyone needs to know who Futureverse is, and we'd more rather be Intel Inside than we would be want to be the front facing brand for everyone out there.
Okay, I like that answer, because I think you're right. Sometimes when you get into those ecosystems, because to your point is you'll get game players who are really isolated in on one area. So I completely understand that. It can't necessarily be, kind of the Epic Game Store kind of concept where, really though it's very easy to understand if you're a gamer, but you're usually just interested in one particular area. So yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, and if you want the store experience, that's what Readyverse is.
Exactly.
That's their job. It's not Futureverse's job.
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's talk about some other things. I want to get into Questmas. You guys had the 12 days of Questmas going on. I thought this was kind of cool. Tell me about this, just so people know.
Yeah, so just leading up into Christmas, a whole bunch of fun little challenges for people with rewards that are dished out every day. Part of the build up to Christmas, and giving some extra little bonuses along the way for people who've been in the community.
Talk to me, and I think, from a standpoint of staking, because I don't know that people really understand that Root is a great place to deal with staking. Explain to our audience, first of all, how it works, what's the process. Give me kind of the rundown.
Yeah, so if you have Root is the kind of network proof of stake token inside of the Root network, and so it helps secure the network. So you secure the network by staking Root, and in return you earn block rewards in the form of fees that are paid by people who are using the network. So last year alone, I think people earned around 1.3 million XRP in fees staking in the network.
Right.
And so if you've got Root, you go to staking dashboard, you choose a node that you want to stake against, or you can create your own as a validator, be part of the network, and then your stake will get locked, and at the end of each cycle you'll get a bunch of rewards in all of the tokens that have been used on the network.
Usually the staking process is a couple of clicks. You've got the tokens, you want to go in, you want to stake. Granted, Root is a little bit more difficult to get to, but in general, is there any plan to do more improvements on that in terms of the experience?
We actually shipped, I think, 4 different updates to staking in the last 2 months.
Okay.
I mean, I certainly find it relatively easy once you're on the staking dashboard to find a node and nominate is only a few clicks away. So getting better all the time. These things can always be improved upon, but I think it's a fairly straightforward experience once you've got your Root now.
What about bridging XRP to XRPL, especially to Root? that in itself is still a process. There's, it feels like there's a
Yeah.
lot to jump through to get that done.
Again, that's getting easier and easier. And if you look at the ecosystem that's building out around that, Girin Labs recently launched the Girin wallet on iOS and Android. And Girin wallet is a couple of clicks if you have XRP on either XRPL or on the Root network to bridge between the two. So very slick experience if you're out there and you want to have a native XRPL and native Root mobile wallet. Go and have a look at Girin Labs' wallet in the app stores, and literally one click away from bridging.
We're a big fan of xpmarket because we're always looking for tokens within the XRP ecosystem. Root is not on here. Why is that? Why can we not have Root on here?
Root is on the
on xpmarket,
on the AMM now on XRPL. So I'm not sure why it wouldn't show up there now.
Interesting.
Probably something for the team to chase down.
Okay. Well, maybe.
But yeah, you can find Root on the XRPL AMM already.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Then we'll keep a close eye on this going forward. A couple other things I want to get into because AI agents really starting to move forward here in terms of the potential. You also look at kind of the idea behind what's happening with altered state. Explain to me a little bit, kind of walk me through that first so we can kind of understand, because I think this is a unique strategy that you guys are doing.
A big part of our mission is making content interoperable everywhere, and allowing people to truly own their digital content. When you have an NFT, it is something that is portable, and that portability gives some meaning to ownership. The second thing is, how do we make it possible for everyone to generate that content? And that's what the generative AI is about. What's unique a little bit about Altered State is how it interfaces with the non-fungible intelligence agent protocol.
Right,
so everything you create on there can be minted and receive this agent personality as part of it. And so we're taking that kind of step from creating an object to making it part of an agentic ecosystem inside of a game or application or experience.
Yeah, to that point, this was just a Bitwise prediction that you guys put out there. Tokens launched by AI agents are going to spearhead meme coin mania, even bigger than 2024. So that'll be interesting to see more of that. What is the potential, especially for altered states, in terms of a launch date? Do you have anything in line right now?
Yeah, we were looking for launch in this month, but we decided to add a couple more features. So we're looking like early next year now. Those are kind of features that help people go from creating into animating and rigging. And so we wanted to add those little bits in, a little bit extra work, but I think it'll be worth the wait in the end to get there.
One other thing I had on my list here was in reference to Untamed Isles and the release date for that as well, because I was looking at just some of the explanation of what's going on there. What about?
Well, this is one to get Shen on and start to talk about.
I know,
this is his
probably
project
should
now, and so I would encourage you to do that and get him on there. I think he's doing a bunch of fantastic stuff, and also in this AI agent and meme coin domain, he's building some cool things. So get Shen on, let him give you an update on where things are at, and I think he's tracking towards a launch next year. Last time I caught up with him, so he's a great builder. The community know him well, and he usually delivers.
Yeah. Do you have any idea if they plan on launching some of the NFTs into these 3D AI agents potentially, or via AI agents?
That's a good question. I actually haven't asked him that. I mean, we certainly have the protocol on the Root network where you can upgrade your NFT to an agent, an INFT, and you could definitely see that being possible in what he's building.
You look at the augmented reality market and what it might look like. One of the projects we've been following has been Over. Is there a potential, especially with altered states, possibly going into an AR partnership with someone like Over for that kind of technology advancement?
Yeah, we'd love to talk to anyone who's building in the gaming and metaverse space, and there's lots of places we can intersect. If they've got games and experiences, they could launch them from the Readyverse. If they want to integrate some of this generative technology, we can help them with that. If they want to, improve the onboarding funnels for their users, we can help
Yeah.
them with that. There's lots of cool things that we can add in terms of capability to people who are building in these immersive and gaming experiences.
Aaron, we're wrapping up 2024 here, but early stage of 2025, a lot of builders really starting to advance. We're seeing money flowing into the space pretty quickly. Back end VC seems to be very active in funding projects right now. When you look at where Futureverse is for 2025, any major milestone that you feel like maybe in Q1 that you could talk about today?
Yeah, I think for Q1, our major kind of milestones or focus is activating, like I talked about earlier, these partner communities with their pass onboarding processes and their first like user experiences, content experiences inside of our ecosystem. That's a
Right.
really big piece of work that the team is really focused on now. And then obviously starting to get our hero experiences like the Readyverse and open into the hands of users. Those are two like exciting things happening for us in Q1.
Sounds like you guys are going to have a big year for sure next year. So we'll definitely have you back
Yeah.
on after some of this stuff is starting to launch out there. It
Yeah.
seems like you're right at the finish line right now. So kudos to everything you guys
Yeah,
have been doing.
it's kind of, for me, like exactly feels like that. Like the work, all the underground work has been done, and we're starting now to see the fruits of that turn up, and people building with these tools and the community building with each other and these brands and partners onboarding. And so it's really exciting for us to be at this point. And yeah, I agree, 2025 is going to be a really interesting year for us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm predicting some big news coming out of this ecosystem for 2025. I have a feeling that we're going to see some massive partnerships. So again, thanks for coming in on to the show today. We really appreciate Aaron McDonald coming in from Futureverse.
Yeah, thanks, man. We'll talk next time about those partnerships.
I know you're going to drop something cool. So I'm waiting. We're watching very closely. So
Cool.
anyway, thanks for coming on.
Take care.
All right, so you guys, if you're not in the Diamond Circle, make sure and get in right now. Again, this is a great way to get additional content, but it's also a way for you to get updated on some of our content. In case you miss it over here on YouTube, that's where the Diamond Circle comes in. It also, of course, is a great place to just, kind of collaborate with other users out there. Another thing you can do is catch me out there on X, @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.